What's going on, guys? I'm the Backseat GM, and today we're looking at my 5 least favorite signings in the 2025 NFL draft class. Now, a few videos ago, I made my top 5 favorite signings and the guys that I thought were tremendous value. And now these guys are clearly the opposite of that. These are guys that I thought maybe got a little bit overpaid, maybe don't fit what the team needs exactly, maybe doesn't fit the time frame that they have. So, yeah. And without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. If you can't tell, my voice is a little bit gone here. I've been sick and getting over the sickness now, but my voice is still not there, and it might be just getting worse as the video goes on due to all the talking. But regardless, hope you guys still enjoy. If you do, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll be bringing more NFL and NFL draft content, and of course NBA draft content when that rolls around. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. And at number 5, I have Carlton Davis, the cornerback, getting signed to the New England Patriots for a 3-year, $54 million contract, average of $18 million per season. Now, Carlton Davis is a good player. $18 million might be a little bit overpay, but compared to what the cornerback market is nowadays, it's really not the worst deal ever. But it also doesn't fit the Patriots. I mean, first of all, he's going to be approaching 30 years old this season, and this is a 3-year contract, so he's going to be entering past his prime now, or at least shortly, and the Patriots just aren't winning soon. So this, to me, says it's a temporary fix at the cornerback 2 position, opposite of Christian Gonzalez, of course, but it really doesn't fix what they need and doesn't improve them for the future. And then along with that, he's a player who's always injured, so realistically, if the Patriots don't make the playoffs in these next 3 years, you're paying Carlton Davis $18 million per year, and that's assuming he's going to miss a few games. So really, he's getting paid even more on a per game basis if he does get injured. So overall, in my opinion, he's just a decent starting cornerback who's approaching the age past his prime with an injury history on a team whose time frame does not match. And at number 4, we have offensive guard Aaron Banks to the Green Bay Packers for 4 years, $77 million, over $19 million on average per year. Now, as we saw this entire offseason, the trenches got paid and a lot of guys got overpaid. And while I do think Aaron Banks is a serviceable guard, I don't think he's that elite. And of course, we saw this in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the 49ers. The 49ers' main weakness a few years ago was that they lacked on the interior offensive line, and it really hurt them. And Aaron Banks, while he wasn't probably the worst one in that game, or at least the worst one on the offensive line on the interior, he wasn't a big help. And paying over $19 million on average a year for a guy who isn't a big help to an offensive line, who's just a serviceable starter, is not what you want, especially because for the Green Bay Packers in specific, this screams one of two things. On one hand, either Jordan Morgan, the first round pick last year, is a full-on bust, and they're saying, we're moving on from him. We clearly messed up here. That's the first scenario. The second scenario is that they're starting Aaron Banks over their other guard, Sean Ryan, and what this means is that Sean Ryan, while he's not a great offensive lineman, he's a decent one. So they're paying over $19 million a season for a slight upgrade, potential upgrade from Sean Ryan to Aaron Banks. Really doesn't make sense to me. I get wanting to improve your offensive line, but I think the Packers could have done more here. And at number 3, we have Cooper Kupp getting signed to the Seattle Seahawks for 3 years, $45 million, $15 million per season. Now, if Cooper Kupp can somehow return to his normal form, the price isn't terrible. But Cooper Kupp is known for his separation, and last year he was one of the worst receivers in the league with separation. And he's good at other things too besides separation, but it's just, he's not the same guy that he once was. He's going to be 32, 33, and 34 during his 3 seasons in Seattle, if he survives that long, and I have a feeling he won't be there that long. And he's had a lot of injuries too, so he's an old player. He's not what he used to be. He has a major injury history, and he's getting signed to another team who's just young and needs to improve on the youth that they have instead of bringing in an old wide receiver that won't do anything. At best, maybe it kind of helps Sam Darnold develop more and maybe turn Sam Darnold into your guy, but I don't see the vision here from Seattle. And at number 2, we have Javon Kinlaw to the Washington Commanders. 3 years, $45 million, average of $15 million per season. Now, we saw a lot of interior defensive linemen get overpaid, like Wharton, Grady Jarrett, etc. But Javon Kinlaw, to me, was probably the worst of the 3. And while I think Javon Kinlaw has some promises, for example, he's pretty good in pass rush. He's better than some other guys out there. While his run stopping is abysmal, his pass rushing does have some upside. But Javon Kinlaw is not as good as Jonathan Allen, who the Commanders got rid of, and they only saved $2 million to move on from Jonathan Allen and go to Javon Kinlaw. And while Jonathan Allen was also a guy who regressed in 2024, he was still better as a regressed player than Javon Kinlaw was. And I don't want to disrespect Javon Kinlaw, but he had a 53.4 PFF grade last year, and that was his highest sack season in his career. And he also had 4.5 sacks, which was a career high in a contract season. So a guy with some pass rush upside but isn't that great against the pass, and a guy who's a liability against the run, for $15 million a year, only saving you $2 million to move on from Jonathan Allen when you are a playoff contending team, I'm just not a fan of it. And at number 1, we have Dan Moore Jr. to the Tennessee Titans for a 4-year, $82 million contract, $20.5 million per year. Now, the only thing that I like about this contract is that the first year it's $30 million, and then after that, the following 3 years is $17.3 million per year. So they kind of spread it to that first year to help them save a little more long term. But even at the 17.3, I'm not a big fan of this. Now, Dan Moore Jr. was a guy who was a serviceable starter in a way. He had a 67.2 PFF grade, which was his career high though on a contract season, which is just another thing to note. But he is a younger guy, so he could just be improving as well, which is what Tennessee's obviously hoping for. But Dan Moore Jr. was a guy that Steelers fans, I was seeing a lot about Steelers fans wanting to improve at that position, not wanting Dan Moore Jr. there next year, maybe having him off the bench at most. And, well, Steelers fans don't have to worry about that because the Titans have paid this guy $20.5 million per year now. In my eyes, Dan Moore Jr., while he's serviceable, I think he's a low-end starter or a very valuable backup. But for $20.5 million, that makes no sense for that kind of contract. And it's a 4-year contract as well. So if Dan Moore Jr. doesn't pan out, then you're stuck with him for 4 years. So I like the year 1, how it's a little more and it's less than the other years, but even at that lesser amount, it doesn't make sense for me. And I know they want, protection for their quarterback Cam Ward as we're expecting, but it really doesn't make sense to me. I think they could have found some other players, because there was a lot of guys who got paid like 20, 25 that were very good offensive linemen. So for the Titans to go in, it was day 1 or day 2 and just spend a lot on Dan Moore Jr., maybe they saw something in the film, but I'm not a big fan of this signing. And as the backseat GM, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be honest and say how it is about these GM's decisions. And obviously, these are the 5 that I disagree with. Don't want to disrespect these players, though. I think they all could bring something to the team. I just don't love the fit and don't love the price. So that's going to do it for this video. Again, make sure to like and subscribe for some more NFL and NFL draft content. And hopefully my voice is back for the next video. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.